Hi everyone, and welcome to this vertical studio called Revisiting Hogan's Alley.
We're the Black and Indigenous Design Collective. We're all Sala alumni.
And this program is happening on the unceded and unsurrendered territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. My name is Tasi Baker, and I'm from the Squamish Nation. I'm the lead Indigenous urban design consultant at Sky Spirit Studio.
And my name is Divine, landscape designer at Space to Place, and my ancestral lands are in Burundi in East Africa.
My name is JB Taylor. I'm a landscape architect at Durante Kruk, and my background is Guyanese and Lebanese.
Chenkwama, Tomi, and Kayachtan, my hands are up to you, and welcome to our territory. Today we are sitting in Hatshoe, which means new growth. This is a community garden that was led by Toykunat C. Swiss, who's actually from the Squamish Nation. She's an ethnobotanist, and 221A.
Yes.
And we wanted to sit here to acknowledge the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh territories that we're on, but also this is right in Hogan's Alley, and to really talk about solidarity between Black and Indigenous people, and as a Black and Indigenous design collective, just talk about how we're going to express that solidarity in the program.
You know, as designers, we always kind of have our own vision of how to approach things. But I think the benefit of working in groups is really to come to more of a consensus. And that's something we really need to take a lot of ownership in practicing, because we often talk about design solutions as if there's one ultimate kind of thing that you could prescribe and that intervention is complete. But really, in this course, we want to focus and have an ethos of community building. And so we want you to work in groups to make sure that we're valuing other opinions, other attitudes.
Yeah, and this is also why we're working together. We learn from each other, we listen to each other, and everything is better when you work in community. And we hope to foster those values in the studio.
Like, we're really going to cover what is your positionality, like who are you as a person, what is your identity, and how do you express and embody yourself and your self-expression and your identity and even your family and where you come from in design. And that's something as Black and Indigenous people we do all the time, where we're always drawing from expressing our cultural values in the built environment, in the built form. And that's quite different from a Western lens, which is about removing identity, blank walls, blank spaces, which end up being white spaces. So how do we create culturally informed spaces? And all of that comes from you as an individual. And what we as instructors are going to try and do is try and help you understand who you are and how that self-expression can come out in design, and how that self-expression, that embodied expression, can help the community do the same.
Yeah, and also how you position yourself as a designer to work with different community members and practicing listening and maybe translating a vision and honoring what the community is telling you. So in working with Hogan's Alley, we will be in conversation with community members to celebrate and honor the Black community in Vancouver now and before and in the future. And in the name itself, Revisiting Hogan's Alley, there will be an exploration of the past, the history of the place that we are on, and that's going to be how we start the studio. It's going to be a deep understanding and mapping, modeling of the space to be able to understand then in designing for the future.
Right.
And that's really part of a decolonized approach. When we're doing work in community, it's really integral that we're not doing a top-down approach, which is often actually taught in architectural schools and design and Western style of design, where you're the grand architect, you come in, you solve everyone's problems, and you leave. And that's really not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're going to try and teach you a process-based approach, a trauma-informed approach, a community-based approach of how do you design for a community.
Yes. So what is the final project going to look like, or what are the assignments going to look like in this class?
I think the assignments are going to be pretty open in terms of the form that they take, but they will need to be well researched and thought out and have a lot of cultural sensitivity embedded in them. So we are encouraging people to, again, explore different mediums, but we do have an end goal of a booklet at the end of the studio. Because this booklet will most likely be digital, the content of the booklet itself can also take different forms other than 2D.
That's right.
And we're hoping that even though most of it might be online, that we can still foster a good sense of community together.
Yeah. On that note, we are going to be having our first class on Friday the 10th at 1:30. We're going to be meeting right at Nora Hendricks' place. We're going to have a guided tour. Of course, we know that not everyone will be able to make it. We encourage you to go at your own comfort level, and we will be recording most of the tour, and we will be revisiting this area as a collective in October when things are hopefully in person. Are you hype?
Are you bringing vibes?
This class is going to be a vibe.
Vibes are key.
We're grading you on vibes.